right, this is Mr. Prankman. I gotta test the audio so that I know if this works or if this doesn't work. And I also gotta finish eating my lunch, because if not, I'm drinking a second coffee for the day and my body's gonna start taking screenshots, and I'm just gonna end the stream even earlier than it's already gonna end. And that's not gonna be fun for you or fun for me. So give me like 2 minutes. I'm gonna scarf down a sandwich. I'm gonna check the audio, and then I'll be back. All right. My name is Frank. I am a game developer, and it's a pretty nice day. It's like almost 2 p.m., which is super late for me. This is usually when I end the stream, but I've been really out of schedule, so we're just starting it now. We're gonna go for a quick hour, and then yeah, we're just gonna be working on a knockback shooter today, which is gonna be kind of fun. My sandwich is mostly scarfed. I've got my coffee from that one place we're supposed to be protesting, boycotting even. Hopefully that ASMR was good. And yeah, this is the beginning of the broadcast. Usually for the first 5 or 10 minutes I talk about personal stuff, things that have happened between the last time I ended stream and when I hit live just a couple of minutes ago. So what has happened? Well, I did a bonfire with my friends. It was fun. One of my newest friends, he jumped through the fire, which was hella sick. Probably very dangerous. So that was cool. What else? Destiny 2, the final shape came out. Why haven't I streamed this week? Because the expansion fucking dropped. Let's check my goddamn hours in this game. Look. It's right here. No way. That came out. So I've been spending a lot of time on that. Where are you? Here you are. In the last 2 weeks, I've played 60 hours of this game. 60. That is a part-time job. It's a part-time job. So yeah, if you're wondering why I haven't streamed so regularly, it might be that game. That game is, I have gone through phases where I have played that game for 80 hours every 2 weeks according to Steam, which means that I was effectively playing it as a full-time job. While I was in the dorms at college, I played that shit 40 hours a week and somehow still hung out with people and got my homework done. It's crazy. I mean, I wasn't working at the time, not working now, but God, I love making weird noises with the coffee. But yeah, no, Destiny, it's not an addiction, it's a lifestyle. And one of these days is gonna bite me thoroughly in the ass. Okay. So what are we doing today? That's pretty much all I have. I mean, there's some stuff that I'm gonna talk about in just 2 seconds that is both applicable to today's broadcast and stuff I've done in the past week. You can see this is not the Castle Wars project that I usually work on. This is in fact something weird, something dare I say single player, called Knockback Arena, where you spawn into an arena and you're going to have to fight enemies by knocking them back. Yeah, so I spent I basically, the premise of this is I've been debugging netcode and character controller stuff for months, and I have this big project, this big Castle Wars project, which will, sorry, I hit my mouse, it will come out eventually, hopefully sometime 2025. But I want to expand the portfolio a little bit, so this is a project that I've given myself 7 non-consecutive days to work on. It is single player, and any sort of feature I have is capping, we're capping the amount of things in that feature to the number 4. So evidence, 4 rocket thrusters on that scoreboard, 4 buttons in each one of these columns, except for this one, which has 1 button, and this one actually doesn't have any. It has 5 total because I made a button that allows you to revive a random player. This is local split screen. I don't have enough controllers plugged in to show that off, but just trust me, it's local split screen. And yeah, we are technically on the 3rd non-consecutive day of working on this. The first day, I really just got local split screen working, and I built a very basic arena and just got our first person character in so we can look around, use controller support. I updated the easy character movement to first person character controller to the new input system, which was mostly painless. And then I built a shop. Oh, have we already bought a pistol? Oh, we have. I don't get to show off stuff from day 2. Today I've been working on the pistols. I built a little interaction system and a little inventory system so we can actually select specific items. We can either scroll through them, or we can select them with the number keys 1 through 4. Again, that number 4 items in the inventory. And this morning specifically, I made some shooting animations for each of the weapons. Now, let's do some quick stuff. I'm gonna kill the player, boom, and we're gonna start a new game because, oh, you can still see where we died. This little shop comes up out of the ground. We're gonna buy a pistol just so I can show you the parachutes. Now, I had a little bug with the parachutes that I thought was very funny while I was working on this off stream the other day, and I may or may not have made a little short out of that. Here, we can pick up the pistol. Let me pull up this short. Let's go to shorts. So if we're here, we can look at the short now. Usually my shorts get anywhere. I mean, some of them pop a couple thousand, 5,000. The last time we got 7,000 was here. I don't know when I posted this, but that was a long time ago. That was at least like 2 months ago. So first time I posted short in a while. It was maybe a banger. Now, luckily, I have noticed that the things that usually pop off shorts wise are things related to the game, or just absolutely shitting on Destiny 2, which is another personality trait of mine. So it's kind of nice that I was working on this, and I got a little short out of it. And so the parachutes look like that. They were very much just spinning all around, and that's because I can actually pull this up. We look at our parachute script. When we start the descent, we add a random torque. And this was also adding it on the X and the Z axes, meaning it would spin just in a random direction around the point, which is great. But it doesn't necessarily abide by the physics that falling straight down would. So I had to edit it, but you know, when something is funny, you post it on the internet. So I did. And yeah, it actually kind of popped off. A bunch of people had suggestions, like maybe make the parachutes flying from the side, maybe add a little toggle so that they do still spin around, because if it is funny, might as well put it in, right? It's not a bug, it's a feature. And so I'll probably be doing that. I will probably be adding in a bunch of those suggestions, just not immediately, because this is still the 3rd of 7 non-consecutive days. So maybe on like the 6th or the 7th, when it's like polish time, I'll add in another toggle, because there is a settings menu, and I'll add a goofy parachute toggle, and I think that'll be fun. But yeah, a bunch of people had suggestions, so I'm gonna try and implement a few of them, because I am still not a great game designer, so I'm gonna take other people's suggestions. A lot of game designers have a lot of experience, and I don't have that much experience, which is part of why I just want to work on this project for a week, where it's like, let's just get this game out. Let's have the experience of designing something and building it all the way to completion. Player's a capsule. Enemies are probably going to also be capsules. That's fine. I don't need to spend all week making art assets. If I can find something that kind of works and it's public domain, great. I mean, even like the weapons. These are Kenny assets. Kenny assets are public domain, and they're great. They're perfect. So yeah, that's both the premise and sort of a recap of what we have going. We have a scoreboard, we have an inventory system, we have a shop, we have some guns that can quote unquote fire. In fact, what we have to do first is implement both a hit scan for 3 of the weapons and a projectile for one of them. God, I really should push this to Git at some point. These are a bunch of things that don't need to get worked on. Yeah, that's where we are. Is we're gonna work on guns today. I guess one last little sort of like final note, and this is really cringe of me to both admit and really just put out into the world, but as a game developer, there's always this part of me that's like, hey, you should make games without an engine. And yeah, I want to try that. I found actually, where is this? I found this little GitHub website. So someone made this website on their GitHub, and it's like, here's how to get started with game development. So you start by making like Pong or Flappy Bird, which are very, very simple games, and you work up and you create like Minecraft or Portal. Now, I don't know how long you're supposed to take on each of these, but I know that it is a little bit of a challenge to try and do all of this in 30 days. I don't have that time right now, but what I want to do is I found some tutorials for the SDL2 library in C, and I kind of want to, maybe in some free time, I might work on this on stream if it's like not an absolute slog. But I kind of want to make some games, either without an engine or in an engine or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I'm gonna appease the voice that's always talking back here, and we're gonna do it. But that's not today. We got so many things in line before that. It's just I've been doing a lot of extra research on that, and I want to show it off. Alrighty. I really quick, I want to make sure that my clips are capturing correctly, because the other day they were not. Okay, let's see. And so I've been trying to make shorts with stuff from the last couple of streams, and it's not, they're kind of hard to piece together. Okay, that's an okay clip. Okay, I think clips are actually capturing properly today, which is nice. It means I can trust OBS to do its job. Sometimes it can't. Okay, so I wish that there was a convenient way to split Obsidian notes, or like hide the tabs. It's fine. You can just see them. So today, this is the stuff for day 3. I want to get sounds for the guns firing, actually get the guns to fire, implement some weapon sway, some bullet hole stuff, clear all of the pickup items off of the ground, and then maybe get some very basic enemies going. But right now we're just gonna work on guns. We're gonna try and get all of this done before, in the next 50 odd minutes, because this is a super short stream, and then this I can work on tonight. And then I'm sorry, this says day 3 and then we go straight to day 5. Did I forget how to count? No way. Okay. And then we'll just call this day 6 then. Cool. That's easy. It's super easy. All right. Oh, and I have to work on this room, which I'm actually not going to talk about this at all, because I'm going to be posting this game somewhere so that people can play it. And if you play it with more than one person, you'll be able to see what is in that room. But for the most part, that room is... Oh, actually, you can't see anything. I don't know what I'm doing. Hi. Okay. Hello. I just realized that I wasn't screen sharing. Haha. So, stuff for today is we're going to try and get gun fire sounds as well as bullet hole stuff, and actually like fire the weapons. So we have this script which is going to either split us to a hit fire scan or projectile, not a hit scan fire or a projectile fire. So we're going to try and implement those, and then maybe do some weapon sway and clear our pickup items off the ground. So it's going to be a super short, super easy stream. And I guess the fun part is we can start by trying to find some sounds, because I don't have sounds, or we can start by trying to implement these. I think it would probably be better for the game to implement these. God, I haven't done a hit fire. Jesus, I did the same thing again, a hit scan operation in a while. I'm gonna move this off the screen. Whoop. All right, so we're gonna do, what is it? We wanna pull up the Unity documentation for a raycast. Unity raycast. Here we go. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm just looking at this immediately. I don't think we need a layer mask, just because this is just gonna go straight from the eye of our camera, which is our bullet start location, and then we're just gonna do the fun copy paste. So hit scan is basically, if you don't know, just a real easy, we have a start point, we shoot a ray out from wherever that start point is in a direction, and then if it collides with something, we will quote unquote hit it. So we don't want that. We really only want the case that we did hit something. And then we can look at this. Something that is maybe worth adding to our item script is a range. So we can just add a public float for our range, and I'm going to set this to 50 units flat. Let's see. I'm just going to do a public item get item. This is just going to return our view model item. There we go. This way we can just reference this from somewhere. We don't have to always write this. We can just get the item this way. Okay. So we have our range, because this is mathf.infinity. So maybe we want to do get item range. And then here, instead of our forward direction, we probably want to use our start location dot forward. Okay. So this is just gonna, oh, hold on. We want to start it at the start location, which is our position with our forward vector. Cool. So we can take that. This is drawing array times the range. Okay. Super simple. Now let's look in our editor and let's see if it's firing properly. So we're gonna need to buy a pistol. Oop. All right, and then now I'm just gonna go into a point where we can view. That's fun. I don't see anything being drawn. Let's see. So we have our pistol, which is located under the weapon holder. Pistol. So this has our pistol item. I believe this should be adding a, yeah, we add on fire there. So is use hit scan off? It is off. Okay. That's fun. We can just go here, take these three, turn on use hit scan. And then this one, I had it wrong when I set this up earlier. That's why. I made a mental note that the rocket launcher should be using something other than the normal guns, and nope, I had it backwards. Okay, so now when we buy a pistol, we can go grab it. All right, and now you can see in the editor the little yellow lines wherever we're firing. And you can also see, if we go closer to our character, that they are not coming out of the gun. They're coming out of the camera. And that is because we want the array to line up with the crosshair in the center so that players have some conception of where they're shooting. And I know that there's ways to get a point from that and have the projectile come out of the gun, but it's hit scan, so we don't have to watch the projectile move. It should be fine. Okay, so we have this. We draw array, and we need something to hit. So I'm gonna really quickly make a new folder. We'll just call this enemies, and then in here I'm gonna create a C# script. We're gonna call this our enemy. This is gonna be a super basic enemy script. It's just gonna exist so we have some marker of what we're hitting. So maybe in gunfire, if hit dot. Oh, what do we get from here? Hit dot. We probably want the collider dot game object dot get component. That's a crazy string, but if we have an enemy, we want to just debug log hit. Oh, hot hit an enemy. One of these days I will learn how to type under pressure, but right now I don't. So if we hit an enemy, we will say that we did. Now there's probably better ways of doing this. We could probably set up a layer mask and just check, hey, only check layers that or only check things that are on the enemy layer, which would probably be a good idea. And I actually don't know if I set that up or not. Nope. But this way we can still hit like the ground and spawn a bullet hole on the ground. We don't have to just... Who is messaging me? Crazy. Okay. Sorry, this way we don't have to set up... We don't have to only hit enemies. We can hit the ground and show bullet holes and particles and all that stuff. All right, so now let's make a very basic capsule. So 3D object, capsule. And this is just going to exist. We'll put it opposite of the scoreboard and bring you down the ground. Okay. I'm gonna make this on a grid because I have the world's lightest case of OCD, and that is also not how OCD works, but I don't care. Okay. So now we have a quote-unquote enemy in the scene. So if we buy a pistol, that pistol is going to get dropped to us. Honestly, I should just put some of the pickups on the ground so I don't need to buy them each time, but it's fine. Okay, so now if we shoot here, nothing, but if we shoot them, we hit an enemy. Didn't hit an enemy here, but as soon as we hit them, or as soon as our crosshairs on them, we hit them. All right. Easy peasy. I am going to put a rigid body on this enemy because the whole point of this game is called, oh, I don't remember. What is it called? It's called, come on, Unity, don't let me down. It's called Knockback Arena. So the whole point of this game, the whole concept that I actually got from, I think the YouTuber is Mrs. In their how to learn game dev video, they're like, make a shooter where the guns don't do damage, but just push people back. And so this is a shooter where the guns don't do damage, but they push people back. So we need a rigid body in order to actually push the enemy. Okay. The hard part, I think, is as soon as we hit them with some amount of force, they will tip over. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay. We'll just call this strength. We also probably could have taken the range and put it on this component, but it's fine. Knockback strength. So we'll make a private float, just call this knockback strength. I have no idea if 10 is going to be a worthy enough value. On hit enemy, and we'll just call this enemy. So when we hit an enemy, I'm just going to change this to call this function, so that way we can put all of our enemy hitting logic into its own place and maybe reuse it later. Boom. Okay, and now we don't need this at all. So the hit scan is super simple. We're good here. Let me write down to set all weapon ranges. And set all weapon strengths. So we have an enemy. Let's get our rigid body from our enemy. .get component. Rigid body. And now we have our direction of which way the bullet is traveling. So let's write down get our rigid body. And I'm also going to comment, if we hit an enemy, knock them back. And then here I'm going to just write an else, and I'm going to call this on miss. And this on miss is going to handle our bullet hole, which we'll worry about later. Private void on miss. Okay. Debug.log missed Lamau. There we go. Okay. Now our debug console will laugh at us. So we have our rigid body. Now we just want to knock the player back, or knock the enemy back. So we need rb.add not add explosion force, add force. Knockback strength. Oh. Okay, so let's actually just calculate our knockback. Okay, so vector 3 equals new vector 3. Actually, we can just take our direction. Doesn't have to be a new one. And then multiply this by our knockback strength. And so now we can just add a knockback force like so. Now, age-old question. How much code can I write without checking it while it still works? Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Actually, I'm really tired of dropping in and then needing to buy something to test it, or like changing the prices of items so that way I can just grab them. But we're gonna just pick them up from right here. No. Okay. And then all of these need to get moved up because they are in fact rigid bodies, and I'll just fall through the ground. Okay. Oh, what don't you have? You don't have, I think it's a side loader. Okay. That's fun. That's why they have zeros. All of these ammo side load. How much ammo do you have? 1,000 million. These are debug weapons. It's gonna break the UI a little bit. Okay. So they just fall over. 10 is actually not that much force. But we can get them rolling at least. Okay, so two things, one of which is going to absolutely hurt performance, and that is that I want this to interpolate. Just so that it's a little smoother. And then I want to freeze the rotation on the X and the Z axes. That way the enemy stays straight up. We can edit these later if we have, say, an explosion, and I'll work on the enemies and make it so they can fall over and get back up. But right now we want to be able to push enemies. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that a strength of 10 is not enough. Here's our prefab. Okay. We're going to crank this up by a factor of 10, and hopefully this is very funny. Hopefully we just send them into the stratosphere. Boom. Okay, we're moving them. So we definitely... It works. It's not exactly noticeable. But like if we run this back... and we fire right here, it definitely pushes them back a bit. Which is good. I mean, that's the whole point. But I was kind of hoping that it would be much, much further. So maybe let's make this by a scale factor of 1,000. Now that's more what I was looking for. Okay, just for funsies, I do want to crank this really, really high. So that's 1,000. What if we just set it to 10,000? How far does this go? Boop. Yeah, okay, that works. I'm gonna put more enemies down. That was funny. Oh. Okay. Now how does this run? Because we're gonna have to have a bunch of enemies anyway, so we're gonna need to really push the limit of what this is capable of. Bowling time. Just shooting them into the stratosphere. Okay. Okay, so yeah, 10,000 is a little much. Little much. We're probably gonna want to scale that by just something. So maybe I'm gonna say 500 is maybe good, in which I'm gonna actually tune this a tad. So times 10. That way we can or times 100. So that way we can just write 5 for our knockback strength here. And then all the other ones, which have a default of 10, kind of work. Okay. Also worth noting that maybe this works. Yeah, okay, so just by writing the stuff down, just by writing the code, we have code that sort of pushes enemies back. Now, super happy fun time. We got to start killing the enemies. I mean, also it might be good to test all of these, tune them a tad. Because right now, the rifle and the shotgun have the same knockback, which is great. Like this has half, and that means that like if you chain them, you can get people going. Those work a little nice. Maybe our friction coefficient needs to be better, but our shotgun. Yeah, either our shotgun needs to fire multiple pellets in a spread, which actually might be the play. But it at least needs to be a little stronger, just in my opinion. So our shotgun, let's make that do 12, and I'm gonna squish the rifle down to an 8. The rocket launcher, we'll leave that at 10, but the rocket launcher is going to use an actual projectile, which we'll probably work on in a second. Okay. And like this is great, it'll fire, but we'll see nothing. Okay, so now, boom. God, these are kind of strong. These are still pretty strong. Because ideally, like, I mean, the first couple of waves, you're just gonna have a pistol. And so you're gonna be fighting off a couple of enemies. I want to make it so that anytime the player is hit, they just die. Like if an enemy makes it close enough to you, you've lost the game. Okay. Also worth maybe. What is our drag is 0. Okay. So maybe, I mean, I don't know. How do we add a physics material? Physics material enemy. Because this has some frictions. Bounciness. That would be fun. Oh, also, it might be worth checking, like, how far the hit is. hit dot distance. I just want to see how far certain things are, that way we can balance the weapons. Maybe actually right now. Because like if we're hitting stuff from this far away, that's 25 units. I don't think the shotgun should be hitting that far. So maybe let's write down some ranges. So pistol, I'm gonna say we'll do 35. Rifle, we'll do 50. Shotgun, we'll do 20. Rifle, maybe 45. And then the rocket doesn't matter. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of the way that I've set this up, where a lot of the values are set in this prefab, and so if we end up losing this prefab, we lose the values. Oh well. Oh, actually, no, we don't. We gotta go here. So our pistol, we want, I think I said 35. Our rifle is 45, and our shotgun is 20. Okay, so now we should not be able to hit things with the shotgun over here. But we should be able to with the rifle. Yeah. And honestly, probably also with the pistol. Yeah. Okay. If we... Okay. So I just wrote a little note. And that note just says we should maybe make the crosshair red if we hover over an enemy. So like it means that I probably do need to change the color of the crosshairs. Because right now they're all black. But maybe if we're looking at an enemy and that enemy is within range of the gun, we should be able to hit it. That way we have some visual feedback of can we hit the enemy or not. Sorry for bothering you. No, thank you. No, thank you. We're gonna... How do we mute someone? Let's do a 24-hour timeout. Okay. Please don't advertise shit in my chat. I don't care. I'm making games for free. I don't want anyone to come see my stream and then think that they need to buy something. The only thing you need to buy is a good sandwich and send that shit to me because I'm hungry. I don't know. I'm trying to be funny, please. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this debug log because we're kind of good there. It's gonna... Oh, maybe... Where's our HUD script? I'm gonna have to come up with some way of actually showing visual feedback, but I don't want to tunnel into that right now. I want to actually work on getting all of this stuff implemented. We actually have the guns firing, so that's nice. Now I think it would be a fun time to make the rocket launcher work, especially because I only really have like 20-ish more minutes until I probably need to end the broadcast. So don't want to take too much time spiraling. Okay, so the rocket launcher is going to be using this other fire method, which we're going to call Just it's projectile fire. Let me just write spawn the bullet hole. Yeah, so if we hit something and it wasn't the enemy, then here, hit dot point. And this is a vector 3 point. Spawn a hole at, what's the point? Super easy, just a debug log so we know what we're doing. Projectile fire. So here we're going to spawn in a projectile, given that we have this. So if projectile prefab does not equal null, or let's just say if it does equal null, we'll return. And then otherwise spawn one in. And then we will probably pass some values to it, but we'll have to make a projectile script and all that stuff. Game object, projectile. This is what we call the prefab equals instantiate, and we're gonna want the projectile prefab at our bullet start location with rotation. So quaternion dot Euler. We'll worry about rotating it later. We'll say quaternion identity. There we go. So we just want to spawn a projectile, and this projectile is going to go until it hits something. And so we get to do the super fun thing. View models. I'm just going to create. Where do I want to put this? Maybe just in scripts. We'll just call this a projectile. And then I want to see if there's an easy way to set the forward vector so that way we can just move this thing forwards. Oh, you can actually just set the forward vector that way? Sorry, I'm looking at a blog post that says, or not a blog post, a discussion post. It says you can just set the forward vector like that. So we could actually just go into our gunfire and then just say projectile.transform.forwards equals our bullet start location dot forward. Easy. And that should rotate it. So we'll set the rotation of our projectile. And then here we go. All we have to do here is move the projectile forwards. I'm going to say this needs a sphere collider. So require component type of sphere collider. And then we want a private collider. Call that collider. And then we don't actually need that. Hold on. We have this. So we'll just move our projectile forwards. So we need to set maybe a speed. So header. Nah, we don't need header yet. Public float speed transform dot position plus equals. We'll just move it forwards. Transform dot forwards times speed times time dot delta time. That's a pretty easy line. And then we want a public, or probably a private. I think I can just get this with that. There we go. Okay, so on collision enter, and here we'll spawn the explosion prefab. Okay, so if explosion prefab, and we want to instantiate an explosion prefab at our position with just we don't care about rotation. It's just going to sphere cast outside. We could just do a collider for that. Okay. So this, honestly, that should be the entire projectile script. We will spawn one of these and it will itself move forwards until we hit something. And then when we hit something, we should probably destroy this just game object. Destroy ourselves. And I'm actually gonna alter this so if we don't have an explosion prefab, we're going to want to return. Otherwise, we want to create an explosion. Game object explosion. I know how to spell. And then we're going to want to destroy the explosion after some time. So we can just destroy explosion after maybe 2 seconds. Okay. Super easy. Let's let all of this compile, and then we got to make some prefabs. So I think we can just steal a rocket model. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're cooking. Here we go. We're gonna want this zeroed out, and then let me select it again. So we have our little rocket model. We're gonna want to add our projectile. Okay, fine. Capsule collider, and then we want to add our projectile script, in which our speed 1.0 f 10 units a second. Our radius should be like 0.1. And then we want this on the z-axis. Okay. Okay. So that's our projectile. Okay. Ammo projectile. We don't need a rigid body on this because we don't need it. We don't need to simulate physics on it. We can just move it. So now if we go to our player, view models, I'll just throw this here. Rocket projectile. And we can move that here. And then that can get deleted. Putting that here. In our player prefab, we want this rocket launcher to get our rocket. Why can't we? What? View models, rocket launcher, rocket projectile. I don't know why I couldn't find that. Okay. Now, moment of truth. Can we spawn in a rocket using this thingy? Play. Huh. Yeah. That we can. It doesn't move very fast. That's all right. I don't need any of those. Okay. Rocket projectile. Let's set this to 25. Now let's see. Did I not delete the one out of the scene? Oh, I did delete the one out of the scene. So things maybe aren't being destroyed properly. Because we're supposed to destroy ourselves. But yet this thing still exists. I mean, it's stopped. It's interesting that we're not getting a collision though. What does provide context do? If I turn that on and we start getting contacts, or we start getting it. No, you can still see them just go right through. So that's not it. Oh, that's why we don't have an explosion prefab. So this will be fun. I have a little VFX library in here. So we have some prefabs, and one of them should be an explosion, which, oh, we're still in game mode. That's fire. We don't need that one. Explosion. That's a pretty big explosion, but we can probably just take this and play just the fire part of it. So if we just play this, you know, it's a pretty big explosion. We might want to make that a little bit smaller, but let's do, how does that look? That's still, I don't know how to limit the size of her lifetime. Okay, that's not great, but we can do this. So that works. Okay, so now we can just rename this FX underscore rocket explosion. And then now we can go back to our player, view model, rocket launcher, and just put this in here. So that way we have an explosion prefab, which actually, hold on. No, you're going bye-bye. We're just gonna break you, and we'll create an empty parent and just call this our rocket explosion. You get to go in here, and the projectile, it's a rocket explosion. Okay. We'll make that 10. So we might get a little explosion cut off. It's okay. Excuse me. We have a rocket explosion. May I ask why we are not getting one of these? I'll just say hit right there. Why are we not getting hits? Just like not even getting a hit at all. Weird. So we know this part's working. We're gonna do a classic Google search, which is on collision enter not working. If your other colliders have a rigid body or anything attached to this collider, the collision will be okay. When a collider assessed rigid body has begun touching another one. In contrast to on trigger enter, on collision enter, past the collision, yada yada yada. Oh man, look. Look at this. It's crazy. So they have an instantiates an explosion prefab when hitting a surface and then destroys itself. That's almost exactly what we want. So what's different here? So we have an explosion prefab. They have a transform for it. That's fine. Contact point. We don't need that. We have this. I'm gonna make this not private. That shouldn't change anything because I think by default things are private. And then we instantiate an explosion prefab and we return. Because we're not even getting the event to fire because this would be running before. We also can take this off, but that shouldn't change any logic things. Interesting. It's very interesting that this is just not firing. The event is not firing. What if we set it to a trigger region? I don't know. Okay. So I was missing things, right? Okay, fine. We'll do what I was really hoping to get away with, which is that we should set a rigid body. It's not going to use gravity. If that fixes it, God, why? Why do I need a rigid body for this to work? Yeah, okay. Well, we have the what's it called? It was a Helldivers 2 issue where if you're spinning around and you're spinning at the right time, so if we're moving the rocket launcher counterclockwise as we spawn the rocket will spawn and then will be collided with by our rocket launcher. So let's actually move our little prefab spawn point and that should be fine. Because right now the projectiles are being spawned right there. So if we just move it here, we should never run into that issue because the rocket launcher is never going to go more forwards than that. Okay. So that's working. Okay, so we have that. We're gonna need an explosion sound, an explosion knockback. Unfortunately though, I just got the text to end all texts, which is we're done, can you come pick me up? So I need to head out, but it's been nice. I told you, super short stream, probably just an hour. We did get a good chunk of things done. So we don't have sounds or quote unquote juice or anything, but we do have weapons that are firing. And we have a rocket launcher that can shoot rockets and those rockets then explode when they hit something. We have weapons that can fire, again with no sound, but then once we're close enough, they will push the enemies back, which is the core gameplay loop that we need here. I love that I've been making a game for 3 days and we are just now getting actual gameplay, which is fine. So that is unfortunately where I have to call the stream. It's been nice. I hope that if you're still watching, you'll be back whenever I am back. Tomorrow, I will not be back. I'd actually love to keep working on this, but tomorrow is day 1 raid for Destiny 2, my addiction lifestyle hybrid thing that I should probably go to therapy about. So all day tomorrow, I'm going to be playing a video game. And because of that, I am not going to be able to stream game development. I would stream the day one raid, but I am a narcissist who likes being on camera, and my teammates maybe aren't. They're not. So they have asked that if I am going to stream, I do it privately. So if you are a friend of mine watching this and you want to see the stream, message me. If someone messaged me, I'll stream it. But if not, no harm, no foul. So it's been nice. I should be back next week pretty consistently. If not, yell at me in my YouTube comments and on Instagram and on TikTok. Or if you know me or you're in my Discord, spam me. Just for funsies. All right. Peace.